Question 3 is, what have you learned from your audience feedback? When creating our short film, we constantly stressed our target audience of males between aged 15 and 25. We took this into consideration when it came to gaining audience feedback through the various stages of construction period. In our early stages, we had issues with our plotline and we couldn't decide on a finalised plot between the group. We decided to reach out to a mass audience to see which plot they preferred. Having already typed out a detailed story, an alternative blog post was made with a different story, genre, an entirely new audience for that matter. For this reason, we decided to reach out as many people as we could to gain a general idea of what the public wanted to see. To do this, we used SurveyMonkey to present both ideas, then finished with a one-question survey. Once the survey had been created, we reached out to the family and friends while also asking our online audience to voice their opinion. One thing I considered about asking Facebook friends is the possibility of biased results. If we were to redo the survey, I might suggest that we avoid Facebook, or for this reason simply because it's a very open forum made of people who we know personally. We'd also decided to use Twitter. We had benefited greatly by asking those on Twitter for their feedback, as the three of us had a combined following of 11,000 people, with some overlap due to mutual followings. Addressing this kind of audience meant we were receiving feedback across the globe, with results coming from across the UK, France, Canada, and even America. We were happy with the feedback we were receiving. All in all, we had 83 people contribute towards the survey. As well as Facebook and Twitter, we had our own blog. We had also posted the survey to our blog as a reference for our progress, but to also reach out to other media students who may be following our posts. We then gained audience feedback during the post-production stage of our film. For this, we recorded conversations with me and Holly in the editing suite. In our conversation, we asked our A2 media students on 2 sections we weren't sure about. We asked other media students at our level, they were able to understand what was being asked and what we wanted to ultimately achieve. They understood the importance of being filmed as well while they spoke. For this, we reached out to Kayla and Claire for a section of our film to see if they could hear a particular sound file we had inserted.
Right.
Little children.
Okay, so we are editing now, and we're just wondering if you can hear anything in this particular part of the clip. So they're trick-or-treating, and she's just opened the door.
Trick or treat. Thank you.
Could you hear anything like
Just
music?
saying
Music?
Yes.
no.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
For those who could not hear it either, we had used a very quiet version of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here theme song. This was to add to the home setting the woman at the door was living in and to fill in any silences between speech. Ultimately, they could not hear the theme song. Usually we would react towards this, and either by removing the sound file entirely or just making the soundtrack louder. We decided to keep the file in as we had previously had some problems with the recordings of our audio. Using the soundtrack bridged any cuts in the audio and made the production a lot smoother. It also was a fun Easter egg for the group to reflect on. Next, we reached out to Ella for feedback, another student in our media class, on visuals in our film. Before filming the feedback, we had asked Ella to look out for anything that goes against the continuity, and if footage ran smoothly.
We're going to go from...
Okay, so we are editing right now, and we are coming up to the bit where we're revealing that there's an eyeball in the soup, and we are looking for Ella's reaction.
Just for this little
Just
bit
this
where we
tiny
have Isabel's reaction.
Yep.
As in, does it make sense?
Music's good. I like the shot and the framing of that.
We're not entirely sure.
I don't think the slow motion works. I think it looks cool, and I think the having the gaps in the black screens where it makes it more intense, like it's building up something, you can tell something's going to happen, it's like foreboding. But I think the slow motion's too obvious on that.
Yeah.
That's all I'd say.
Does the bit where Isabel looks at the camera, or not
Does it
the
make
camera, but the
sense?
person behind her?
Yeah, she's like...
Because she was like what I'm being like continuity.
Yeah.
Like she was stirring it and she
Yeah.
didn't actually put the spoon, she didn't let go of the spoon, so now she's suddenly like let go and she's looking up at the camera.
Oh no, it makes sense.
Is it-
Like you can tell she's just, it just looks like she's eating the soup and she looks up and
Yeah.
then she carries on like eating
Okay.
the soup if it goes to stirring.
Fab.
Thank
Where
you.
is the eyeball after that then or
Yeah,
before?
it's
So
after.
yeah, it makes sense then, that's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
From Ella's feedback, we reacted to the comments made, beginning with the slow motion section. We decided to reduce the slow motion to near a fraction of the original pace. We liked the idea of dragging out Isabel's action of stirring the soup, but could agree that the slow motion was very obvious and distracted the audience from the continuity. We also appreciate Ella's comments on the cuts to black. She agreed that they helped to build suspense and it made it obvious something was coming. From an analytical point, Ella had deconstructed our short film perfectly. From this we can assume we had edited this sequence well. Our main question to Ella was whether it looked clear that Isabel was looking off the camera towards Kira, the killer chef, and it appears this was achieved. The clip was never intentionally filmed actually, but it seemed to work to our favour. Finally, when creating our short film poster, I managed to receive some audience feedback from my A2 media class. In one of our lessons, my teacher had commented that he felt something was missing from my poster. He suggested that there could be another image included that would suggest the plot line without ruining anything. Rather sarcastically, I commented that I should edit an eyeball into the soup. It actually turned out to be a really good idea. My teacher had then commented that the eyeball should be edited slightly larger, as it wasn't visible at first glance. At this point, I had disagreed, so reached out to others in my class for an opinion. I simply asked them to look at my Photoshop document and describe what they saw. Sure enough, the majority of the class saw the eyeball straight away. They had agreed that the eyeball held the poster altogether, but making it bigger would make it too obvious and unrealistic. At this time, I didn't think that to record the conversation, but it would be something to consider, and if I was to redo the course for future reference, that would be quite helpful. However, I did react to the comments made and decided to keep the new addition to the final poster, the eyeball. By asking other media students, I had reached out to other students with a creative eye, so that was a benefit to us, so they knew that the feedback would be constructive. When collecting audience feedback, it's always important to consider multiple questions such as, did we react to the comments made by the audience? From my own experiences, I have realised that not all feedback has to affect the products, mainly because we can't please every last person in the world. Feedback is more of a suggestion rather than fact. It's also important to question how the information was actually collected and who collected it. If the short we had produced was made on a larger scale, the producers will not be the ones to gather feedback. One of the cons of us gaining feedback is the possibility of bias. Family and friends may be lenient to one idea because they know the person better, so they would probably go for the more preferred option. To avoid this, I personally asked my family to vote for the plot poll on SurveyMonkey, and then I'd reveal which was the original plot and which was the new one. We also live in a very digital age, which means we can utilise websites such as SurveyMonkey, gaining feedback from places such as Calgary in Canada and even Texas in America. That wouldn't be possible without the internet. We'd also sent out the SurveyMonkey via text message and social media, which again is something that's only been made possible in the last couple of years. The internet has also made it very possible for us to document our feedback better. By running a blog, we were able to constantly update those who follow us on exactly where we were in the product and how we were progressing as a group. We had also set up a YouTube channel in conjunction with our blog to bring footage from days of filming, audience feedback conversations, and to present our final piece. Both Blogger and YouTube offer comment sections for feedback and reviews. We had our media teacher constantly give us feedback on how to improve our products and our blog posts. From this, we were able to constantly improve. I've learned that it's very easy to get in communication and gain a professional view through mediums such as YouTube and Blogger. Questionably, the most important factor of the course was who we approached for feedback. Much like the biased opinions, we had to ensure we were receiving feedback from those in our audience feedback range. Due to our college setting, we were unable to ask people much older than 19, so our feedback could have been slightly lenient. We also felt it was important to gain a female perspective on our film, as we had two prominent female roles involved in a controversial setting. If we were to recreate our audience feedback, I would have attempted to gain an older opinion, specifically reaching out to those in their 20s to see if the appeal of our film was still there.